Everyone thinks they know Lionel Messi. We've seen his goals 1,000 times. We've argued about his records endlessly. But the real question is, have we ever stopped to look at the man who carries the myth? We see the legend already built, but we almost never see the pain, the wounds, and the sacrifices it took to get there. This is not just the story of a football player, it's the story of a battle against nature, a battle against silence, a battle against the expectations of a world that is never satisfied. How does a boy who barely spoke end up making an entire planet shout his name? Today, on Behind the Icon, we're going to walk through the life of Lionel Andres Messi, step by step in chronological order. We're not here to count trophies. We're here to understand the scars that turned him into a legend. Because to become eternal, you first have to learn how to become unbreakable. From the very beginning, there were moments when Messi was very close to losing everything. Rosario, late 1980s. A boy so small he almost disappeared between the defenders. When he was 11 years old, the diagnosis hit like a hammer. Growth hormone deficiency. Imagine the scene. Every night for years, that boy injected hormones into his own legs, alone, with a syringe, in the dark of his bedroom. Pain became part of his routine. While other kids were playing, Messi was training just to avoid falling behind. Newell's, his first club in Rosario, couldn't afford to keep supporting his treatment. That's when Barcelona appeared. December 2000. After months of doubts, Messi's father was ready to leave. Carlos Rexach, Barcelona's sporting director at the time, knew he couldn't let that kid slip away, but there was no contract at hand. So, in a restaurant, he grabbed a paper napkin from the table and wrote a promise by hand, a symbolic agreement, a fragile piece of paper that would end up changing modern football forever. Shortly after that, at just 13 years old, Leo crossed the Atlantic. He left his mother in Rosario in tears, and he locked himself inside La Masia, Barcelona's youth academy, where he cried in silence so his father wouldn't worry. Messi wasn't just playing football to win, he was playing to justify the sacrifice of an entire family. Before we go on, there are a few details about Messi's childhood that help us understand who he really was long before the world knew his name. His parents named him Lionel because they were fans of Lionel Richie. Not Maradona, not a football legend, a pop singer. And his real idol wasn't Maradona either, it was Pablo Aimar, the River Plate playmaker he watched again and again, trying to copy the way he moved, the way he played, the way he saw the game.
¿Estudio lo Aimar?
Sí, siempre dije que Aimar lo sigue, que salió y bueno, lo sigo mucho a él.
When Messi made his debut for the Argentine national team, the moment that was supposed to be a dream turned into a shock. He was sent off just 47 seconds after coming on as a substitute. Less than a minute on the pitch. And in only his second match for Barcelona's youth teams, he suffered a brutal tackle that broke his left fibula 6 months out, 6 months away from the ball, 6 months of silence and recovery. Most kids would have gone back home, back to Rosario, back to what felt safe. Messi never did. He stayed, and he kept going. On October 16, 2004, Lionel Messi made his official debut with Barcelona's first team. At the time, Ronaldinho was the king of world football, and he quickly took Messi under his wing, almost like a younger brother. Ronaldinho would end up playing a central role in Messi's first goal with the senior team, but he was also part of a moment that almost happened before it was supposed to. May 1st, 2005, Camp Nou. Messi comes off the bench, and within minutes, something almost prophetic takes place. Ronaldinho sees him, threads a perfect pass, and Leo gently lifts the ball over the goalkeeper. The stadium explodes, but the whistle kills the moment. Offside. It wasn't his time yet. Minutes later, the scene repeats itself. Ronaldinho assists again. Messi runs, escapes his defender, and once more chips the ball over the keeper. This time, it counts. His first official goal for Barcelona. It wasn't just a goal, it was a message. When Messi fails, he insists. And when he insists, even fate eventually gives in. Under Pep Guardiola, Messi stopped being just a player and became something else entirely. He became a system. From the false nine role Guardiola invented for him to the first major trophies, including the historic sextuple in 2009.
Me llamó una vez a la tarde, estaba en la ciudad deportiva, me llama como a las 7 de la tarde, yo estaba en mi casa, venía a la ciudad deportiva. Y bueno, fui, jugaba un día antes, mañana vas a jugar acá, me dice. Digo, ¿de 9 falsos? Sí, porque mira, vamos a hacer esto, porque si vos venís a recibir acá, ¿ves? Te van a picar los dos puntas, nosotros ahí tenemos que ir a jugar. Dice. Para ganar el Madrid tenés que ir a jugar, ser protagonista y no tener miedo, porque si no ahí no ganás. Y bueno.
It all felt unreal, as if Lionel Messi was living inside a video game. But while the world was applauding him, a storm was quietly growing inside. Because the higher he flew with Barcelona, the harder it hurt every time he put on Argentina's shirt, and success slipped through his fingers. Before we move on, there are 3 records that explain better than anything else why Lionel Messi is not normal. In 2012, he scored 91 goals in a single calendar year. No one in the history of modern football has ever come close to that number. He is also the all-time leader in Ballon d'Or awards. He has 8, Cristiano Ronaldo has 5. That's not a small difference, that's an entire era. He is the first player in history to score 5 goals in a single Champions League match. That's not just talent, that's not even greatness, that's a player who simply doesn't belong to this planet. April 23rd, 2017, El Clásico at the Santiago Bernabeu. Messi was playing with gauze in his mouth, bleeding after an elbow from Marcelo had split his lip open. A wounded warrior in enemy territory. Minute 33. He receives the ball, glides past Carvajal as if he isn't even there, and finishes across goal, 1-1. Minute 92, the last play of the match. Sergi Roberto breaks forward, passes to Jordi Alba, and Alba sends in the cutback. And there he is. First touch, left foot, goal. Messi doesn't scream. He takes off his shirt and walks toward the Real Madrid crowd. He doesn't say a word. He just holds up his name and his number. It's a message without words. I'm still here. I'm still the king. That image becomes one of the most iconic moments in the history of sports. August 2021. The football world goes into shock. The impossible happens. Barcelona can't renew his contract. We see a human Messi, broken, crying in front of a microphone in a press conference no one wanted to watch. He leaves for PSG, a kind of purgatory in Paris. For the first time in 21 years, Lionel is in a place that doesn't feel like home. His own fans whistle him. They treat him like a stranger. But that exile was necessary. It was in the loneliness of Paris that Messi stopped looking for approval and started looking for peace. The pain of losing his home became the fire that forged the steel for what was coming next. And what was coming, my friends, was the World Cup in Qatar. But before Qatar, there were 3 moments in Messi's life when everything could have ended very differently. The first moment was the 2014 World Cup final. He lost it, and for many people, that was supposed to be the end of his legacy. The image of Messi walking past the trophy with his head down became a symbol of a dream that had slipped away. The second moment came in 2016, when he announced his retirement from the national team. It wasn't a tactical decision. It wasn't a strategy. It was emotional exhaustion. The third moment was in 2021 when he was forced to leave Barcelona. He had to walk away from the only football home he had ever known, the club of his life. 3 blows, 3 breaking points, and then Qatar arrived. Qatar, 2022. He was no longer the quiet kid who kept his head down. A leader had been born. Quarterfinals against the Netherlands. After a brutal, tense match, Messi walks into the mixed zone for an interview. The Dutch number 9 stares at him, says something under his breath, and Messi snaps.
Un poco caliente por el final.
¿Qué mira, bobo? ¿Qué mira, bobo? Anda para allá, bobo. Anda para allá.
Tranquilo.
What are you looking at, fool? Go over there, fool. That wasn't the Messi from Barcelona. That was the Messi from Rosario. The Messi who had stopped asking for permission. A captain ready to fight for his team. The fear was gone. All that was left was ambition. The final against France was the culmination of 35 years of waiting. When Montiel's penalty hit the net, Messi dropped to his knees. He wasn't celebrating a trophy. He was releasing a weight he had been carrying since that napkin back in the year 2000. The weight of eternity finally became lighter. Today, Lionel Messi enjoys the sun in Miami, and his story leaves us with something simple but powerful. Obstacles are not walls, they are steps. If today you feel small, remember the kid with the injections. Remember the boy and the napkin. And remember the man who wasn't afraid to tell the world to move aside. Because it doesn't matter how many times they tell you that you can't. If your will is bigger than your fear, sooner or later, the world gives way. Thank you for being here. This is Behind the Icon. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel and tell us what you felt when you saw Messi cry when he left Barcelona and when you saw him lift the trophy in Qatar. See you in the next story.